But
Okay, are you
I
getting
mean,
at the
look,
Tom's question
if
now?
what yeah, I've answered your question right here. I got another question because you said that you believe in the Bible, right?
Yes.
And you say that you're Christian, and I'm telling you from the answers that you've given, I'm skeptical whether or not you're Christian. I truly am skeptical whether or not you actually believe in what you say. So I want to ask you a question, and I want to explore that, right? So I have a question that I ask a lot in these situations, and it goes something like this, right? Now, excuse me, because like the example that I use is like a little bit vulgar, and if you, I'll try to keep it like with some euphemisms or something, but like basically, it's one of the best ways to illustrate exactly what I'm talking about, though. Okay. But you're an adult. I think you can handle it. So, anyways, the idea is that let's say that you, as a Christian, are at your home, and as you're an adult and you're doing adult things, one day you're masturbating. Okay, it's something that everybody pretty much does, even Christians, right? That's not really contested. So let's say that now you know that that's a sin, right? That's something that you're not supposed to be doing, right? And you also know that God is omnipresent. You know that, right? God's omnipresent. I'm assuming you know that. You said you believe in the Bible, and that's what the Bible says. So let's say that one day when you're masturbating, God, right at the foot of your bed, materializes right there, right there.
Yeah.
He's got the robe. He's got the beard. He says, "Hey, how you doing? My name's Jesus," right? And whatever it is that you need to be convinced that this guy is actually Jesus, maybe he touches you and your like entire life flashes before your eyes. Maybe for a split second he takes you to heaven and you're right back in your bed. Whatever it is he does, and you know that he's Jesus, right? God would be able to make you know that you're Jesus, right? So that's what happens, and then what do you do?
What do you mean?
What do you do in that moment?
I freak out.
Well, I'll tell you. No. I'll tell you what do you do. I'll tell you what do you do, because right as all that's happening, you have your dick in hand. That's what I'm talking about. What do you do?
What do you mean? What do I do?
Wouldn't you put your dick away?
What are you gonna finish yourself off and say, "Hang on a second, Jesus, I'm almost there"? Is that what you're gonna say?
Out of respect for the other person in the room, I'd put my dick away.
You would put your dick away. Okay. You would put your dick away. That is the respectful thing to do. I do agree with that. Now, here's a question. If God is omnipresent, why the fuck would you put your dick away?
If God is, okay, so this is a good point. You're right. He is omnipresent. He sees all, he knows all, right? Like, why do we sin at all? Because he can see everything we do in secret. Is that kind of what you're getting at?
Yeah, what you like, oh my, you God materialized, and then you yourself, you said, oh no, God is seeing me masturbate. I better put my dick away. But according to your belief, God was already watching you.
Yes.
Why would you put your dick away?
Yeah, because I'm a human and I'm faithless sometimes.
What? When you're masturbating, you lose your faith in God?
No. I don't lose my faith in God, but I don't act the way that I should all the time, especially in secret.
Right? What do you mean in secret? There's no secrets when it comes to God, man. What are you talking about?
Especially when nobody else, no other human, right? There's things that we all do.
What do you think? You turn out the lights, all of a sudden God doesn't know exactly what you're doing,
no.
bro?
God, no, that's not what I meant by in secret. I meant when nobody else knows. God's always there. Yes, I believe that.
Okay, so why'd you put your dick away?
Because he's all of a sudden I can see him. And I mean, honest, this is a great point. We struggle with sin as people, right? I would call it a sin, right? Because of what the Bible has said about things. Someone else might just call it human nature for certain situations, right? But yeah, I would call it a sin. And the fact is, I don't think that most of us understand the gravity of sin. Like the Bible in the Old Testament talks about Isaiah and how all of a sudden he had a vision and he saw the majesty of God. He didn't even see God, he just saw his robe, right? He didn't even see his face. He just saw his robe and he's like, woe is me, I'm a man of unclean lips, and my people are people of unclean lips. Like he realized.
Okay, hold on a sec, because I have to stop you. I'm not stopping you up to this point, but the reason I'm stopping you now is because you're preaching at me. You know,
I'm
you're
sorry,
preaching at me, right?
but hold on a second. I'm just quoting what the Bible says. How is that preaching?
That's what preaching is, right?
Yes, it is.
Just
but
giving me Bible verses and stuff like that.
But so how is
you
it
and I? But you and I, look, if I wanted to be preached to, I would just say, like, hey, just like read to me like one of your French girls or something like
well, no,
that.
hold on.
I'm not doing that,
Well,
right?
then can I rephrase it so that I'm not preaching? My point is, like, there have been people.
Look.
Most people.
Let me explain to you.
Yeah. Most people don't see the majesty of God. Okay. Some people have.
Hey, bro, just calm down. Just calm down a second, all right? All right. Look, here. Look, let's just take one step back, right? I asked you a question. It's hard to answer. It's hard to like kind of reconcile. I understand that, but once you hit the exit this room, everything's going to be fine. You're going to go back this Sunday. You're going to go back to church. You're going to put like, $5 in the offering and then take 4 back, I mean, like you're going to do whatever it is that you're going to do. That's fine. All right. Don't worry about it. Right now, like we're just having a conversation conceptually. Right. And I'm trying to figure out if what's going on here. I want to know the explanation for your behavior. Maybe you're just completely irrational. That could be the case. Maybe another possibility is that you might not actually believe that God is always there, right? That could be another explanation too, right? So I'm trying to figure out, it could be those explanations. It could be another explanation. I'm trying to figure out what is the explanation. That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Right.
And now you just reading Bible verses to me seems like it's not really going to like solve the question about, hey, what's up with Gabriel's psychology in this situation?
Sure. I think all of us, including Christians, suppress the truth. Right. We figure out ways to do what we want to do sometimes. And we excuse it. We excuse our behavior. How does that?
Okay, that sounds like you're just giving me an explanation for like I'm human and therefore I sin sometimes, right? But that's not. We already know that. We already know that you're human and sometimes you sin and sometimes you're gonna mess up, and sometimes you're gonna play with your pee-pee when God doesn't want you to, right? We already know that. Those are facts we already know. The fact that we're trying to figure out is why are you putting your dick away?
I don't know. I thought I answered it, but maybe I didn't.
Could you? It's probably my fault, but could you like give me the like short version of the answer? If you don't know, that's fine too. I'm not gonna like. I'm not just gonna sit here and bust your balls the entire time. You want to say you don't know? That's fine. I don't care.
No, like I've just explained, God is omnipresent, and we, because we don't see Him, there are some things that we do excuse ourselves. I believe it's because we don't perceive God to be how holy He is. Even Christians, we weren't Isaiah. We didn't see God or the train of His temple, the train of His robe, right? So we do things, and that's why the Bible encourages us to throw off sin, right? Because it's a choice that we have. We can either continue in it or we can throw it off and choose to be faithful.
Seems like what your answer is, like in the moment, like out of sight, out of mind. I kind of forgot that God is watching everything I do. Is that the answer? That's what it sounded like to me. If I'm wrong, just let me know.
No, I think you're right in, I maybe would word it differently, but I think that, yeah, we do excuse certain behaviors, and masturbation or sexual sins. There's tons of sins, right? Greed, just the different things that we might do because we want to get away.
You're answering different questions though. Now you're just kind of like saying like, here's why we sin. I already know why you sin, right? Here's the same question another way. Maybe this will help clarify it, right? Before you got your like Kleenex and your like lotion and everything set up, you knew that God was omnipresent and you knew that God was watching you. When you pulled your dick out, you knew that God was watching you, right? When you started playing with your dick, you knew that God was watching you. When Jesus materialized, you knew that God was watching. At all points in time, from before the conception of the act to the fulfillment of the act, and up until Jesus so rudely interrupted you, you knew that Jesus was always watching you and that he's omnipresent. That fact never, ever changed. So the question is, so then why would you put your dick away?
No, I think the question is, why did I pull it out in the first place? I mean, I can
No,
allow.
that's not my question. That's not my question.
But
That's not my
that
question.
should be my question for myself.
I know the answer why you pulled your dick out in the first place is because you wanted to get off, right? And you wanted to get off and play with your little pee-pee. That's a simple question that everybody in this room, we all already know the answer to, right? We all know that you're a sinner, you're a bastard sinner, and you couldn't help but pull your dick out and play with your pee-pee. We got it. No one really cares, right? We're all bastard sinners too, right? That's not the interesting part. The interesting part is, why did you put your dick away?
Well, I don't have anything else to contribute to this conversation about masturbating and pulling dicks out.
Well, I mean, like I said, I mean, it seems like kind of like a, hey, man, I don't really know. And as I said, I would accept that answer. I accept that you don't know. I think it is something interesting to think about. And you were a good sport about that. And even though the subject matter is kind of like NC-17, you still entertained it anyway. So that's cool. And respect that.
Well, I mean, I guess it's an interesting thought experiment. Man, I believe we struggle with sin for our whole lives, whether we're Christian or not. We're lying to ourselves if we don't, right? If we don't, even as a Christian, say that we struggle with sin, and Paul writes about this, how we have two natures basically living in us until our death and until the resurrection in the last day. And yeah, there's never any excuse for it, but